pastries, and flat products such as cookies, sheet cakes, sweets, rolls, and pizza. Next, we have the bake pan or the baking pans. It is used to hold runny batters, so such as cake batter and thick solid masses of food such as savory hot dishes recipes. So the foods are placed in the pan and we baked it in the oven. So baking pans are available in a variety of sizes, materials, surface textures, and color. Next, we have the roasting pan. A roasting pan are used with a rack that sits inside the pan. And it lets the meat sit above the fat and juice drippings. So a shallow roasting pan is normally used for roasting small cuts of meat, but large roasting pans are also used for cooking large poultry such as turkey or goose, or for larger cuts of meats. Next, we have the square baking pan or the square pans. These are a nice vessel for baked eggs or a small casserole of baked macaroni and cheese. Okay, so the standard size are 9 by 5 inches or the slightly smaller than 8.5 by 4.5 inches. So they are pretty much interchangeable as long as you tweak the cook time if you're swapping one in for the other. Next, we have the loaf pan, or it is also called as the bread pan. It is a kitchen utensil in the form of a container in which bread is baked. So its function is to shape bread while it is rising during baking. The most common shape of the bread pan is loaf pan. So it is a narrow, rectangular, a convenient form that enables a uniform slicing. Next, we have the muffin pan. Muffin pans, a type of pan used for baking muffins, or sometimes it is used for baking cupcakes. So the pan typically will have 6 to 12 individual round pockets or holders connected to the tin and formed in the shape of a muffin. Next, the cake pan. So a cake pan is a pan designed to bake a cake in an oven. So it can be made out of metal or enameled metal, silicone. Sometimes we use silicone cake pan. It can also be used as a ceramic. So most metal ones made now have non-stick surfaces. So cake pans can also be used for casseroles, squares, no-bake desserts, layered party dips. So when we say no-bake desserts, these are the blueberry cheesecake, strawberry cheesecake, mango cheesecakes. Okay, next we have the angel food cake pan. So these pans are meant for very light, delicate cakes like angel food cakes, so such as chiffons or sponge cakes. For this reason, they are often angel food cake pan. So these cakes rely primarily on whipped egg whites for leavening and contain very little flour and chemical leaveners. So when we say leaveners, it produces tiny air bubbles, mainly carbon dioxide, which helps food that are baked or cooked to rise. Next, we have the pie pan or the pie plates. They are used to bake single crust or double crust pies. So they are also available in a deep dish variety that has slanted sides. So a deep dish pie plate is most often used to bake a savory dish. So a pie plate is also referred as a pie tin. So pots and pan materials. Pots and pans are made from a variety of materials. So it's either an aluminum, copper, and stainless steel, or a non-stick coatings, cast iron, glass, or ceramic combinations. So first we have the stainless steel. So it has a poor heat conductor, which is why they are often bottom coated with copper. So non-stick coatings naman, it tolerates high heats and eliminates sticking that can occur with stainless steel. While aluminum, it has an excellent heat conductor and lightweight, but reacts with foods that are acidic, alkaline or sulfurous. So what are these foods that are acidic, alkaline, or sulfurous? These are the fresh and processed meats, the eggs, beans, oil seeds, salt, and some types of cheese and also grains. Next, we have the anodized aluminum. So the surface of this type of pan is electrochemically non-reactive. So the terms reactive and non-reactive are referring to the type of metal which your pot or bowl is made. So aluminum, cast iron, and copper are all reactive, while stainless steel, ceramic glass, and metal cookware with enamel coating are all non-reactive. So foods cooked in reactive pots will often pick up a metallic flavor and sometimes turn into funny colors. Or for example, ano mo ginluluto is green, it will turn into brown. So this usually happens with very acidic or very alkaline foods. So for example, also whipped egg whites. So it can develop gray streaks, and tomato sauce might start to taste tini. When say tini and bagat rust and iya taste. But if you are cooking a slow simmered sauce or preparing something with a very delicate flavors, then you might want to find or to use this anodized aluminum kind of pans, because these are non-reactive pans to use. Next, we have the cast iron. So cast iron, they are superb at retaining heat, but slow to heat and to cool. So it needs to be completely dried and primed. Next, the enameled cast iron pots. Benefits of cast iron is that it has a low maintenance problems. So it protects materials. Kay an enamel, it protects materials from corrosion. But however, enameled coating may chip with abrasion and wear. So utensils. So cutting, stirring, turning, measuring, and serving food are some of the uses of utensils. So knife utensils, there are diverse types of knives or different kinds of knives that are essential to know their uses for particular tasks and to know how to take good care for them. So which are very crucial to the preparation for or preparation of foods. So the food to be cut determines what type of knife should be used. So the basic knife starter set consists of chef's, paring, slicing, boning, and utility knives. The first three types of knives often complete the set of many home kitchens. First, we have the chef's knife, also known as the French knife. It is one of the largest knives used for cutting meat, for mincing, dicing, and chopping a variety of food. Next, utility knife. So it is for lighter duties such as cutting tomatoes or carving meat. Paring knife. It is for delicate jobs that require close control such as trimming. Boning knife. A slightly curved boning knife is handy for separating meat from bone, cutting between joints, dicing raw meats, and disjointing poultry. Next, we have the slicing knife. It is a long and flexible, used to cut thin slices of meat or poultry. Another kind of a slicing knife is the serrated slicer. So they are used for bread and angel food cake cuttings. Next, we have the steak or scimitar knife. It is a curved jointed blade used for accurate cutting of steaks. Next, we have the butcher knife. There are a variety of butcher knives available for cutting different kinds of raw meats. Heavy clevers, it is used for cutting through bones, labi na haatan mga karne nga maada pa mga buto, or sa haatan gihapon chicken na may daghihap mga part may dabuto-buto. So these are used to cut through those bones. Next, we have oysters and clam knives. So we have a specific knives for this kind of food. So, meaning shellfishes. For opening the shellfish, we use this oyster and clam knives. So, the care of knives. So, cutting knives should never go in a dishwasher. Strong detergents not only dull the blade, but also, when combined with hot water and air, can ruin the wooden handles. So, knives should be washed immediately after you use it. You use soap or detergent, dried thoroughly, and then stored. So knives can be sharpened, and there are two basic ways to hand sharpen a knife, with a stone or with a steel. The sharpening stone, also known as a whetstone, is used by rubbing a bit of moisture on the stone and sliding each other off the blade until the proper sharpness is acquired. Most chefs employ both implements, so for different purposes, one for getting an edge and the other for refining it. So I will be showing you a video in taking good care of our knives.
Coarse side and usually a finer side, and that's going to take and reshape your edge and get it back down thin enough in order to sharpen. You're basically taking something that is blunt and thinning it back down. You have to remove all this extra metal and get it back down to where it's thin enough to cut. Because very simply, all a knife is a very thin piece of steel to split whatever you're cutting. If the knife is obviously thicker, it's like trying to cut something with a chisel. It's not going to happen. There's the two stones, there's the India and there's the crystalline. And once you feel them, obviously the difference is coarseness. The one thing about the India stone, it's a harder stone, and the brown is the finer side. You have to use oil with it. You cannot use it dry. So therefore it's messy. The coarse stone will cut the metal off quicker, but it's going to give you a rougher edge. But that way the job gets done quicker. Without the oil, it's not as messy. This is just a real simple setup. If you do woodwork, you can make a little wooden box and route it out. In this particular case, it's just a 2x4, the stone traced out, finishing nails tapped down so they're deeper than the stone. So when you drop the stone in, if you're at a workbench, you can C-clamp it down in place, or you can hold on to it. So you're going to start at the heel, and you're going to time it so it goes across, all the way across. And you go from one side to the other. You also want to make sure that your stone, I'm not going to use as much pressure as I normally would because I can't mount it on this showcase. But you want to alternate from side to side to keep your bevel centered. Some people will take and do 3 times on one side and then 3 times on the other. The problem is that your backhand is never as good as your forehand, and you end up cheating, and you're going to end up with a blade that's offset. And that's going to take and thin down, you're going to get a thin bevel right on the edge. So once you get that V established, you can go from the coarser side to the finer side. And it's the same thing. You want to alternate from one side to the other, and you just keep working it until it smooths it out. Usually doesn't take quite as long on this side because you're just kind of smoothing it out. And as you go through the finer stones, if you just choose to do that, you're just polishing. The other question is angle. How do I know what angle to use? It's a real simple guide. If you can imagine this was a big cube of butter and you know how it goes bad, you're just going to flay the top of it off. Again, there's people that do it other ways. If it works for them, great. This is the tried, true, simple way of doing it.
So in sharpening of knives using steel, first, the heel of the knife is placed at an angle under the steel stick. Second, firmly holding the steel in the left hand, use one smooth stroke with the right hand to draw the knife. So from the blade's heel to the tip, down to the steel's base. So the heel of the knife is placed at an angle on the top of the steel tip. So retain this angle while moving the knife down the steel. So it is from the blade's heel to the tip in one smooth stroke. Next, we have the preparation utensils. So first, we have the spatulas. Spatulas are used to level off ingredients when measuring. So also, we use this to remove food from flat pans and spread frostings, butter, and other soft foods. So it can be plastic or a rubber spatulas. But it is both used for scraping bowls. Next, we have larger offset spatulas or turners. So it is used to turn meat, pancakes, potatoes, and other foods while browning. So the offset or bend keeps the hand away from the hot surface. So turners, blades solid, are perforated and used as a scraper to remove grease and other materials. Next, we have the tongs. So tongs are used to turn meat while broiling. It is used to lift vegetables like corn on the cob, from a steamer, or it is used also to serve food and serve ice cubes. Next, we have the forks. Forks used to turn meats while cooking or to hold meat and other food while being sliced. Next is straight whisk. So this is used for general purposes and also to smooth sauces. Next is the balloon whisk. It is for incorporating air into egg whites and whipped cream. Next is the flat whisk. It is used for sauces and gravies. Next is mold. So it has a variety of shapes, and also it is used for gelatins and desserts. It can be a plastic molds, a metal molds, or a silicone mold. So brushes. There are three brushes, types of brushes. We have the pastry brushes. It is used to spread melted butter or thin mixture like icings or eggs and water. Next, we have the grease brushes. So it is used to remove grease from soups, stocks, and sauces. Next, we have the vegetable brushes. It is used to clean vegetables and fruits. Wooden spoons. So for stirring, mixing, creaming, tossing, folding, it is used also for serving. Solid spoons. It is used to lift foods, including the liquid, out of the pot, and they are also used to spoon liquids over foods. Next, we have the slotted or perforated spoons. It is used to lift foods out of the liquid in which they were cooked. Skimmers, so used to remove scum and grease from the top of stocks, gravies, and other liquids. And it is also used to lift foods out and hot liquid. So when you say scum, for example, we are boiling a butter. So ang butter may da mga bubble nga dahan igbaw hito nga imo ginpapakuluan. So that is what we call scum. So it is being removed by these skimmers. Next, we have the strainers. So in a variety of sizes and shapes, they are used for separating solid and liquid. The mesh varies from fine to coarse. So a sieve has similar uses, but it is a stainless steel perforated cup with a handle. Next, we have the colander. So these are big drains, used to drain cooked foods like pasta and also to rinse salad greens and fruits or berries. So good. Next, we have the china cup. So it is used to strain liquids from solids when making soups and gravies. Also used to puree foods. So a pointed wooden mallet is used to force food through the strainer. Next, we have the sifter. Sifter used to sift flour or powdered sugar and to blend dry ingredients. So it is used para magkaadahin mas refined nga texture an aton flour, an aton powdered sugar, cocoa powder, especially when we are baking. Next, we have the pastry blender. It is used to cut shortening into flour. Or a pastry blender, gradually it is used to cut cold butter into the flour without over blending it or heating it up. Next, we have the rolling pin. It is used to roll out pastry rolls and cookies or pizza doughs. So we have the dough scraper, used to scrape the dough from the board. And the pastry bags, used to make shaped pastries and decorations. Labi na kung mag-icing kitahin cakes or mag-icing kitahin cupcakes. So the bag is used with a variety of tips or tubes designed to create different shapes when a soft food like icing is squeezed through. So we have common kitchen utensils and their uses. Spoons are for mixing and serving. Different versions are available. It may be slotted, it may be solid or perforated versions. While we have the wire whisk, it is used for mixing, and the straight or French whisk for general purposes such as smoothing the sauces. Then wires of balloon whisk is for beating the egg whites and cream. While the flat whisks are used to create sauces and gravies. Spatula, so it has many purposes and have a variety of shapes. We have rubber spatulas for scraping bowls and for folding beaten eggs. Pie server, it is an angled spatula to lift pie, cake, or pizza edges. While the offset spatula, similar design with the pie server, is used to turn items such as hamburgers, eggs, and pancakes. Next, we have the bench scraper. So it is used for scraping and cutting the dough. Pastry wheel, it is used to cut dough or used to cut the pizza. Kung makita kita ito nga knife nga used to cut the pizza, that is called a pastry wheel. Next, we also have the pastry brush, used to coat pastry with egg whites or sugar glaze. Then we have the measuring utensils. So about 5 different types of measuring utensils are frequently used in food preparation. Liquid and dry measuring cups, measuring spoons, ladles, and scoops are examples of these measuring utensils. So first we have the liquid measuring cups. It is available in different sizes. We have 1 cup, 2 cup, and 4 cups capacities. So their volumes are divided into 1/4, 1/2, and 3/4 cup. They are usually glass and have a pouring lip so that it would be easier to use, and they are for all purpose usage of liquid ingredients that we used in the kitchen. Next, we have the dry measuring cups. So fractional, it has a flat top with the absence of pouring lip. They are single volume, 1/2, 1/4, and 1 cup. So it is used for dry ingredients such as flour, cocoa powder, or powdered sugar. Next, we have measuring spoons. So these are used to measure both liquid and dry ingredients. So sometimes it is used, for example, we need a 1 tablespoon of sugar or a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. So they are both used in a liquid or dry ingredients. Next, we have the ladles. So they are individually stamped with their capacity in ounces that can be used to measure liquids, especially kung mag-serve kitahing soups, para uniform and quantity nga ata na serve nga soup, we use ladles. Next, we have scoops or dippers. So this scoop has a number that indicates number of portions from a quart. So number 8 scoop yields 1/2 cup portions from 1 quart. So the larger the scoop number, the smaller the serving. So used for serving ice cream, it is also used for mashed potatoes and other soft foods. Next, we have the cutting tools. So first, we have an example of a cutting tools, which is the kitchen shear. A kitchen tool is specifically made for food preparation that is more versatile than a standard pair of cutting scissors. So the blades have a notch for cutting throughout poultry joints. When we say poultry joints, nito ang chicken joints, chicken legs, chicken wings, drummet. Amot yan, example, poultry joints. So next, we have the poultry shear. So it is used also to cut through foal and fish bones. Next, we have the peeler. it is used to remove the outer layer of some vegetables, such as potatoes, broccoli stalks. When we say broccoli stalks, amot yan stems and broccoli, and carrots. So also it is used to have fruits, such as apples and pears. Okay, so that's it for our module 3 in HMP 12, which is the lesson 1, food preparation equipment. I hope you have learned a lot with my discussion, and thank you for listening and have a nice day.